What's up, y'all? It's Ty. In this video today, we're going to be going over talking about the new exchanges added into NBA 2K26 MyTEAM. What are they, and are they worth you guys locking in for? Miles Bridges, you got Will Richard, and then you do have Brandon Ingram, who I actually really like Brandon Ingram. I do. I think he's a really solid card. I think the thing for me is, again, you need 25 Lakers players, 20 Raptors players, 10 Pels players, and then an additional Wild Gem Pink Diamond. That's a little steep, right? Like, that's where I'm like, okay, that gets a little steep. Obviously, you know, for the Will Richard, you just need 5 Wild Gem Warriors players. And then for Miles Bridges, you need 10 Wild Gem Hornets players, as well as a Ruby or Amethyst. So honestly, if I'm you guys, I think that this is the best filter to sit on. The Wild Gems for cheap. I genuinely do. Because at the end of the day, guys, you can snipe these cheap Wild Gem players, and you got to kind of know and remember which teams you're looking for here, obviously. But if you can snipe some of these cheaper Wild Gem players that, you know, have some value, that's where you're going to make some MT. But I wouldn't even really worry about sorting through them, because again, if you know and can recognize some of the teams, you're going to be in solid position. And like I said, if you try to get a good memory of, okay, which teams are needed, right? And then once you get a memory of that, you're going to be in good shape. So, like, that's just kind of a snipe filter that you guys can sit on. So think Lakers, think, you know, Pels, think Raptors, and then even for AK, think Jazz, Timberwolves. You also got the Nets. Like, there's a lot of decent teams. But again, you could just sit on the Wild Gems for really cheap, and then you don't even have to think about what teams you're sniping. You just snipe whoever pops up from those teams, because a lot of people, they don't even like they don't even, you know, they don't even sort through it. They just want quick MT, and so they'll really put up whoever, right, as far as players from, you know, whatever team. So just something you guys could obviously look at is sniping these Wild Gems players. Obviously, again, I'm not saying that everybody needs to do that, but that is something that you guys can look at doing today. Something that I might even do myself, because again, all it takes is a couple of players to snipe, whether it's, you know, a Timberwolves players or Raptors players, whoever you do snipe. All it takes is a couple of those, and you're going to make some solid MT. So let's take a look at the, first let's start with Will Richard today. I don't think Will Richard is worth it. 5 different Wild Gem Warriors players. If you have unsellable Warriors players, could be worth your time. Here's the thing, guys. Since there's only 5 needed, I don't love Will Richard. I don't think he's worth it. But again, since there's only 5 of them needed, his price will go down throughout today too. He is going to be a relatively cheap card. Now, with that being said, I still don't think he's worth it. Like right now, again, I'm sorry, I don't see him being worth it. And again, if I'm going to snipe Winston Garland for a couple of reasons. Number 1, he's a Warriors player. Number 2, he is point guard eligible, which again, some people need point guards. It's besides the point. It's another reason to snipe those certain cards. But again, how am I going to approach it? Well, do I have any Golden State Warriors Wild Gem cards? And if I do, I am going to go ahead and sell some of them. I'm not going to sell Manute Bol just for that base price. But as far as the rest of these guys, I'm just going to sell them. There's no reason for me to sit up here and hold on to these cards if I can get 5,000 MT for them. So that's the first thing that again, you guys can look at doing. Is if you do have any of these Wild Gem Warriors cards, you can go ahead and snipe that, or not snipe them, but sell yours, right? Come up, make a little MT. 5,400 is a-okay for me. I will take that and run with it for some Warriors players. Now again, hopefully these cards sell, but this is looking at Will Richard being right around 25,000 MT. He is not worth that. I'm sorry. I think Will Richard is fine, but at the end of the day, he's only 6'3". At the end of the day, his jump shot is not great. Will Richard is absolutely not worth the price that he is going for. So that's just something that I want you guys to keep in the back of your minds. It's just not ultimately worth that. Now again, just kind of my personal opinion on things. You guys can go about it, approach it in any way possible, or any way you want. I just do not think he ultimately is worth that price tag. So that's where I wanted to start with Will Richard. He's just not worth it. Again, if you have Warriors players you want to sell, I think today is early on especially a good day to sell them. Miles Bridges up next. You need 10 Hornets players, as well as a Ruby, as well as an Ami. I'm here to tell you he's not worth that. Like I've mentioned in some of my other videos, you can get Alex English for cheaper than that. You can get other great cards, Rui Hachimura, for that price. He is absolutely not worth that. I'm so serious when I say that. Now, Hornets players right now, you guys can see, are somewhat expensive as well. So people are wanting to spend what? this much MT on Miles Bridges, over 100,000 MT. Like, is the community good? He is absolutely not worth that price tag whatsoever. Not even close. And again, if you have these Hornets players, I would sell them if you can get nearly 10,000 MT for them, because honestly, that price does not make sense. And I'm not trying to hate on Miles Bridges, because I think the card is fine. But again, when we have Alex English selling for 40, 50,000 MT, who is paying this much for Hornets players? Genuinely, it just does not add up. It does not make a whole lot of sense for me. And so again, whenever these new exchanges come out, I just try to take advantage of making a little MT off of them, right? Like that's just kind of the only thing that I can do with it, is just try to make whatever MT I can from it. So again, I'm gonna put these cards up for 78.95 and hope they sell. If they sell, awesome. I will take that MT and run with it. But yeah, right now Miles Bridges like 100,000 MT. By the end of today, I expect him to be right around, I mean, he's still gonna be expensive because you need a Ruby and Amy, 50, 60,000 MT. And at the end of the day, more than that, he's probably gonna stay around 100,000 MT. And at the end of the day, I just don't think he's worth that. I'm sorry, but that's just the way it is. Then last but certainly not least, Brandon Ingram, 25 Lakers. You need 20 Raptors. You need 10 Pels, and then you need a pink diamond player. Here's the problem with BI that I see. Again, it's not even going to be a one size fits all, because again, you can probably snipe your way to some success. The problem that I see is like Lakers players, okay, 10,000 MT apiece. So that's fine. You're at 200,000 MT by the time you get those cards. Pels players, you know, you only need 10 of them, right? You're looking at probably 10,000 MT apiece, okay. And then you go to Raptors players, you're looking at about 10,000 MT apiece. So you need basically what? 55 of those. So you're looking at 500,000 plus pink diamond. 200, 300, I mean, probably about 900,000 MT for Brandon Ingram. And that's why I'm a fan of sniping any of these wild gem cards from teams that you see useful. Because at the end of the day, Kings players, right? No, I do not need a Kings player. See, that's where I'm in my head about it. I think I know, but then at the end of the day, I don't know. That's why I'm just a fan of sniping these cheaper cards. But here's my thing. Is it worth spending a million MT on Brandon Ingram? I think BI is great. But at the end of the day, you're locking in that MT. Similar to Andre Kirilenko, you're locking in that MT. You're never getting that MT back. And I know my team is like, I've got Scottie Pippen, I've got Shea, I've got all these cards that I've locked in a bunch of MT for. And so that's where you could say, well, Ty, is he more worth it than Scottie Pippen? Maybe, because BI is a 6'10 shooting guard. Like there is a side of this thing where I really do like Brandon Ingram, and I wish I could get him and run him at my backup too. But again, it's just tough unless you snipe your way to it to really do that, in my opinion. So again, you've got all of these teams that have useful cards, right? Like the Jazz, the Timberwolves. You got all of these teams that if you can snipe a player from even the point guard position, you're going to end up making MT. The Warriors are now a part of that. And so it's just kind of a crazy situation with the auction house right now, which a lot of these new wild gem cards are going to have some solid value today. I mean, it is what it is. I don't even know if I love it, but a lot of these newer wild gem cards are gonna have solid value. So something to kind of keep in the back of your guys' minds and just see, you know, if you do hit the refresh, do any of these cards have, you know, solid value? Even the point guards for 2,000 MT, I feel like are probably worth my time. I don't know for sure, right? That's something I'm gonna have to definitely sort through and think about. Are the point guards worth 2,000 MT? But I feel like they are, because Igor Demon is a solid enough card for that specific price range. So again, it's just kind of something to think about. A Clippers player for 1,000 MT, right? I don't think that that's really that useful for where we're at in the auction house. But these are the things that pop up that you've got to be ready for, right? Like that you've got to be ready to buy, and you know, you can resell them. And even, you know, a lot of these cards, I see 13, okay, I'm gonna snipe that. I see 11, gonna snipe that. These are the things that, again, if they pop up, you've got to be ready for. And again, I sort by teams when I first see it to see, all right, are there any Raptors players? Are there any this players, that players? But honestly, again, if you guys sit on this filter, I think you are going to make some solid MT throughout today. And there's nothing honestly wrong. Another thing I want to say, there's nothing wrong if you guys want to buy cheap wild gem gold cards or just wild gem, buy cheap cards today and just hope eventually there's a player that comes out from that specific team that is needed. Because if you look at the last few weeks, and this is really what I want to hit on, a Nets player, perfect, right? Why is the Nets player a big snipe right now? Well, you go to the wild gems, you go to the Brooklyn Nets, and guess what? A wild gem Nets player is going to sell for some decent MT. I'm not going to say it's a ton, but 5,000 MT, boom, just like that. I made 3,000 MT in a second, right? And it's nothing crazy that I did. I just sat on a wild gem filter. But here's what I'm saying, right? You look at the recent things, right? We saw a point guard position needed. We saw Nets, Timberwolves, Jazz. Now we're seeing a bunch of other, teams that are needed too. So again, I don't have a problem if you want to sit here and snipe these cards from other teams either, because at the end of the day, these cards probably eventually are going to have value. Like the teams like the Wizards, all of these teams eventually may have value in future weeks. So again, if you do kind of want to, snipe these cards for cheap and wait for them to go up, you obviously can do that as well. I'm probably not going to do that a crazy amount. I'm really looking for those certain teams that I can just kind of turn and burn, right? I like making MT fast instead of it being a slow process. Also, if you are one to open up packs today, know and realize like the odds of you making MT off of gold and emerald players are higher than they have been before, because again, now you're looking at how many different teams being useful. Literally 33% of them, because you got the Jazz, you get, even if you look at, you got the Hornets, you got all of these cards, and people might still want Desmond Bane, so golds. The Knicks, I forgot about them for Mitchell Robinson. You look at, Sapphires and higher for DeAndre Ayton. Even for Şengün, people need golds. So no matter what, tier or what team, you have some cards that are going to be worth some solid value. So just, again, something to kind of keep in the back of your minds if you are working the auction house today. That really is going to wrap it up for our video today. Just kind of wanted to keep you guys updated on my thoughts about this drop. Am I going to lock in any of the exchanges? Probably not. Brandon Ingram definitely gets my interest, though, for sure. That's going to wrap it up for our video today. Drop a like on it, guys. Subscribe if you are new, and as always, man, I love you guys, and have a blessed day.